Roundtable Mastermind. This is going to be a continuation of the topic that we talked about last Thursday, which was compounding. If you haven't had an opportunity or weren't on that live on Thursday, then take an opportunity maybe after this to make yourself a note to jump over to the YouTube channel where we are streaming live right now and go on ahead and watch that replay. I thought that was a great mastermind. I want to thank everybody who participated live on that. A little bit of housekeeping for these masterminds. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is E.R. Wolf. I'm one of the co-founders here at Elify. Today, I'm joined with my business partner, Guy Toole. We've got a lot of other great Elify community members on here. And Thursday Mastermind's all about collectively coming together, interacting about a topic or a subject matter, and really helping support and help each other. So I'm joining you guys live from what we would call colorful Colorado, but I'm looking outside, Guy. It was 0 degrees this morning. We've got 4 inches of snow. I'm started to bundle up with my fleece on, typical Colorado outfit. And, where are you guys joining from? Throw that in the chat on Zoom. And let us know where you're joining from. Also, if you have your Shuffle card, your Shuffle digital business card, go on ahead and paste that in, and we can all take an opportunity to connect with each other, see each other's cards, do those types of things. I put my personal card in there as well. If you need to get a hold of us, it's got all my contact information. So feel free to connect with me, save it to your card index, and have it at your disposal. So if you need anything, you can reach out. Ruben, good to have you on. Brenda, great to have you. Greg, good to see you. Everybody, thanks again. Okay, so guys, today's topic, numbers. And I want to start this out because I am a numbers guy. Not everybody's a numbers person. Not everybody's a math person. I'm a little bit nerdy in that way. I always like to say I'm a nerd who is trapped in an athlete's body, and I'm a big numbers guy. But that has boded well, very well for me over time. And one of the first things I want to talk about with numbers sort of goes back to my own story. And the big thing with my own story is I've been in affiliate marketing for the last 20 years. I've been working remotely before COVID made remote work cool. And the only reason why is because I discovered that you could create these web pages online, get people to view them, have them buy through those web pages, and get a commission. It's a simple thing called affiliate marketing. And in order to be very successful at affiliate marketing, we started to really focus on the numbers. And we took an opportunity to reverse engineer what we wanted to try and accomplish. In our case, it was getting very high search engine listings. And we used some pretty interesting principles to generate that. But the key concept here is if you don't know your numbers, if you don't know what you're producing or what produces results for you, then in a way you are somewhat blindly out there looking around trying to make forward progress. And we don't want to do work for work's sake. We want to do focused, diligent work, the important items, and most importantly, the revenue generating items. So before I go any longer here, I want to open this up to the community. A few ground rules on the Thursday call. If you have a question, there is a reactions in Zoom. You can go ahead and click on that reactions and raise your hand. That way we can call on you in the order that you've raised your hand, and you can unmute yourself, ask your question, give your comment, add a tip or a trick or a celebration. We want to go through all of that with everybody. If you don't feel like coming on live or having people see you or hear your voice, we understand. You can put those in the chat as well, and we'll try and monitor that chat. But let me throw this out, open it up. Thoughts, comments on numbers? Anybody struggling with running through their numbers or scenarios on numbers? Anybody have a comment on how numbers have helped them be successful? Yep, Ruben, go ahead. Thanks for joining today.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Our family here of Elify. I'm really kind of enamored with your quote way back when you said, do I want $1 million or do I want $1 of $1 million? That's numbers. In other words, appealing to the masses.
Yep.
Okay. When we started here with Elify, we were given the opportunity to promote a great tool. And what I found out is that there's people out there that are really not techie, or they consider themselves that.
Yep.
And it's understandable. This is a new development, a new evolution in our world of communication and relationships. So I looked at the overall, I zipped forward to what we have now. And my question essentially is this: to approach the masses, okay, we have several ways we can go as affiliates. The question is going to be is what approach do we take online, and what approach do we take networking in person? And so the question is, now we have an approach where we start out with a full Monty. We say, hey, sign up for Shuffle. You get your 10 cards. We get you started. After we get you in there, now you have the opportunity to buy a tap card, which is an additional component.
Yep.
That's one approach. The other approach essentially is to wow them with a tap card. Boom. Pick up the tap card, and guess what? You get a free card with that. That's another approach. So we have multiple approaches, and I was just thinking here, be kind of neat to have a flow chart of, just like I think you were trying to educate us to go from analog to digital Google Calendar. Remember that aspect? Okay.
Yep.
So I'm a visual learner. So I was thinking it'd be kind of neat to have a flow chart for each particular approach and the circumstances involved so that we can get the best bang for our time and the best bang for our money.
I love that comment, Ruben. And again, if you have questions, make sure you either log them in the chat or raise your hand, because I want to unpack and discuss with Ruben here about what we're talking about. The first thing I want to talk about is the quote and sort of what we talked about with compounding yesterday. And the first question was, would you rather have $1 million right now? Okay, ask yourself this when you're thinking, and again, this is a numbers thing. Would you rather have $1 million right now, or one penny doubled every day for the next 30 days? So a month from now, you could have an amount of one penny doubled every day, or $1 million today. And a majority of people, especially if we went out and we surveyed people, they would say $1 million, no doubt. And we ran the numbers last week. And again, running the numbers, you can look this up on Google. It's a very, popular example. And Ruben, I think you gave the example of the lily pads, or maybe that was Kent last week. But the reality is 30 days from now, if you doubled your penny every day, it doesn't seem like much. One penny turns into two pennies, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16. We looked at it about a week in, and you're only at, under $1. And you're like, yeah, I'm 7 days in and I've only got $1. And you're like, this is, but when you get to the last few days, 30 days out, it's actually almost $5.5 million. And so in hindsight, and this is what we all love about hindsight, when we look back on things and when we run the numbers, you realize that it's actually better to take small actions that compound up to big results. And I would hands down, knowing that, say, I would decline $1 million today in lieu of $5.5 million 30 days from now. Now you can extrapolate that out, right? Would you rather have, $100,000 today, or, this effort done and what you result in a year later? Again, we're just talking about examples. I also use that quote, Ruben, not the example, but the quote, I would much rather have 1% of the efforts of 1,000 people, because there's no way I can personally put in 1,000% effort. And that's the reality, right? We are all limited by time. We all have the same 24 hours, right? We're not going to get more time. In fact, Guy and I, we're going to do a mastermind just on time, because that's a whole topic within itself, and how finite it is and how we don't know how much we have of it. And so it's important to capitalize on that. But that, if you look at 1%, and this is what every business who leverages employees does, right? They don't pay employees what they're worth. The employee produces some value for the business, and the company gives them a fraction of that value as compensation. Okay. And then that company or organization, that corporation, earns a little bit off of every worker bee that works in there. I'd rather have 1% of the efforts of 1,000 people, because I can't put in 1,000% effort. So that's the first part, Ruben. The other part that I think you brought up, and that I think this is super important for everybody, especially if you're an Elify affiliate, and that is personalization, right? There's not a catch-all flow for everybody. There's not that one thing that you send out to everybody. And this is relatable to every business out there. You don't send everybody the same thing because the same thing doesn't work for everybody. So when Ruben, you're talking about the flows and a flow chart, and maybe we'll just pull this up to the board here and do some flow charting here. We want to talk about a few things because there's a few ways to approach the individual that you're talking with and discover what their process is. And again, it's not about like, here's what I've got, whether independent of what it is, here's what I've got, and you've got to get it. You know what I mean? It's more about how can I help you, right? Telling isn't selling. You want to ask the questions, you want to see where they're at. And a lot of the time you're focused on what your current priority is, what your current venture is. And Ruben, to your point, a lot of that is at the end of the conversation, I'm sharing information. Hey, Ruben, I really enjoyed this. I know we've got a lot of networking to do at this event or whatnot. Again, I'm in a different situation each time. Let's connect and share information so that we can follow up. And now we're sharing information. If I'm doing that, typically if I'm in real life, right, in the real world, I want to be using my tap card because it's the easiest and fastest way to share information with somebody in real life, in person. So I would tap their phone, and Guy, you and I were on a call, we did tap remotely. I actually sent the person a tap card so that they could pull it out, and they were like, what is this? And I said, pick up your phone, and we're on a Zoom, and I said, tap this to your phone, and the link pops up. And the jaw drops down. Oh my gosh, how did you just put that on my phone? We're talking about creating magic. It's about experiences. And the experiences that people have when they're with you either raise your credibility with them or lower your credibility, right? If I walk over and I'm like, hey, I don't have any business cards. Let me write my name and number down on a piece of paper and give it to you. You come across as unorganized or unprepared. Whereas if you create that magical experience, the other person is saying like, oh my, Ruben has got it together. He's got his card on thing. He's sharing it through this tap thing. And the first question they start asking isn't like looking at your card. It's like, how did you create that magic? Because you seem to have it together. You know what I mean? So that in lies the aha moment for a lot of people. Sometimes you're texting them a card or posting that card. Again, that's a different experience and that leads them on a different path. So Ruben, you identified two paths, and I want to try and make it simple about path A and path B, right? So you've got A, you've got B. And again, we can run the numbers through each of these paths, right? On path A, you're talking about maybe it's shared through tap. Okay, so what is the order? The order is come in and you can create that magic for your own venture, your own brand, your own product. And I, as the guide, can show you how to do that. I can enable and empower you with this cool superpower that I have so that you can go out and do it yourself. So tap, they're going to come into like Elify.com/tap, right? We know that this is live. We also know as affiliates, if we put /our invite code, we get credit for it. That's the whole important thing when we talk about creating income or creating commissions. They're going to get their tap card. It's a one-time purchase of $20 for their Elify tap card. And they get Shuffle for free. It's the free account, but they get it for free. So that's the first onboarding flow. And again, Ruben, it's one of those things where when I think about it, when I've tapped somebody's phone, that's lead generation. I'm meeting somebody new. And this is one of the things I love about Shuffle. I was on a call with somebody who was focused on CRM, right? Relationship management. And that's great if you already have relationships. But if you're trying to generate new relationships, that's lead generation. That's prospecting in sales and marketing. So you need tools that are going to enable that both online and offline. And that's the conversation you're having with those people, right? I just shared my information with you. Maybe it linked to a card with a form and you just became a prospect of mine. But after they've come in and they've gotten their order and you've gotten your commission and they've signed up for that, right? This flow, the tap is what we call lead generation. The flow here is what we would call hello to enrollment. Sometimes it happens really quickly. Sometimes there are multiple steps. We all have this path in our business. We generate new leads, lead generation. We take somebody from hello to enrollment. After the sale, we have this thing called post-enrollment. So that's the flow there. And again, the post-enrollment flow is how do you go from shuffle free to shuffle premium, right? And now I'm getting a residual thing that builds on that. Now I'm helping and supporting that person to leverage their shuffle to create the same magic. Once they start doing that, there's another Ruben out there. And every time he's tapping his card or she's tapping her card, they're creating that magic all over again. And the cycle starts to repeat itself. And that's where you get some of that leverage and that compounding. Now let's talk about path B here. Path B is the shuffle experience. I think about when I'm talking to somebody, and obviously when I'm talking to somebody, I'm more focused on asking a lot of questions, and I'm asking particular questions, right? I'm discovering and exploring who they are, right? How do I know them? Did I get introduced by somebody? How do they know that person? What are we talking about? Are we talking about, you can pick your own thing, right? I always like the Ford or form. There are a lot of other acronyms you can follow, but that's just sort of like that book that Kathy gave out as an example, 100 questions to ask somebody, right? Where are you from? Oh, you're from Colorado? I'm a native too. How long have you been? Oh, you just moved here? Yeah, Ruben, you've got the book up. You're asking those types of questions, and as you ask somebody questions, you're going to discover a lot of stuff about them. And when you ask somebody what their pain is, if they're comfortable with you, they're going to tell you what that pain is. If you're in health and wellness, they're going to tell you, oh, it's my weight, or it's my gout, or it's my joints, or it's my whatever. And they're going to start to open up. And if you have a solution that can solve that problem, that's the point when you get to introduce your solution, because you're a helper. You're not selling and marketing. You're helping your potential prospects, and the process is helping you filter it out. So when I'm meeting people and I'm having that conversation and they're like, what do you do? And all of that type of stuff, I'll almost not talk because telling isn't selling. I'll ask them, well, what do you do? I help businesses generate new leads, take those leads from hello to enrollment, support the sales, create digital business cards, or help people connect, right? It's not the what, it's the function or the result of that function. So on the path B, Ruben, on the shuffle side, it's more about what shuffle can do for them, not what shuffle does, but what shuffle can do for them. I'll ask questions like, how do you currently manage your contacts? And you'd be surprised. The two most common things I hear from people on managing contacts, the first one is very analog, and it's having a notebook where you write down the names and all of the information of the person you're meeting with. And I see it all the time. You go to a live meeting, they pull out the notebook, they're scratching down notes as you talk. They put the date on there, your name, your contact information. And then when they close it, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's probably one of, in my opinion, the worst ways to manage contacts. Great way to take notes, bad way to manage contacts. The other one is they're using some type of Excel spreadsheet. Here is the list of contacts I have. Here's the column that has their phone number, their email address, the notes I'm taking on it. They're highlighting people they need to follow up with. They're blacking out the names that don't want to interact with them again. And again, out of sight, out of mind. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm logging it as I'm having that conversation. Do you do digital marketing? I'll ask. Do you use landing pages? I'll ask. Do you get automatic alerts? I'm just thinking in my head the checklist of the features and benefits of what Shuffle's going to offer to me. And then I'll say to them, you can get, and I love what Kent and James have positioned before, you can get 10 landing pages for $20 a month. I can show you how. You can get alerted down to the individual level when those people are viewing landing pages. When anybody goes to your site, you can create campaigns, you can create QR codes, you can create. And I will lean into some of that subject matter. We all know there are buzzwords out there right now, right? QR codes is a big buzzword right now. Landing pages are a big buzzword right now. Sales funnels or microsites are big buzzwords. These are all things that are another way to say the content within Shuffle or the networking or the relationship side of Shuffle, and then the other things. And so I'll talk about those. And as that person is telling me where their gaps are, those are the topics I'm leaning into. If they say they're already managing all their relationships on Salesforce and they've got it dialed in, I'm not going to try and get them to switch from Salesforce. I'm going to ask them what content they're sharing with those people. And are they measuring that content? And is it performing for them? And all of that type of stuff. And I'll lean into that. Or do they use QR codes in their marketing? Or have they considered using NFC technology, near field communication? And then I will demonstrate. That's another thing. Let me show you how that works, because that's what I do. And that's what I use in my own business. Let me give you an experience. Scan this, tap this, watch this. And that's that whole experiential thing. But on the B side, they're coming in for Shuffle first. And I usually will position the paid Shuffle option first, right? It's 10 pages for 20 bucks. It's unlimited contacts from your mobile device. It's whatever portion of Shuffle best supports what their issues are. If they balk at this, right? And sometimes I'll try to ask that deeper question, like, is price going to be the objection? Are you not investing $20 into your business here? If price ends up being that ultimate objection, awesome. I don't care. I'm going to put them on Shuffle free. That's option 2. And usually if I'm demonstrating and it's in person, the tap. But typically what it is one of those 2 options first. Then they come in and they're using. And again, that's post-enrollment. Same as down here, but they're in on Shuffle or Shuffle free. And I'm helping and supporting. Guy and I always talk about this topic of doing. Okay, you need to be able to master Shuffle. If you're on this call and you don't know how to build a card, mark your calendar for Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, all of that. If you are on Shuffle and you're not using the CRM portion, master that, because you're going to want to position that to the people you're talking with if you're going to leverage Shuffle's affiliate or Elify's affiliate program as an income stream. And that post-enrollment, it goes from doing to helping. Helping is about post-enrollment. That helps you with your retention. And again, I'm using the Elify affiliate program as an example. You pick your scenario. If you're not leaning into your customers and then you're watching them sort of go away after a little while, there's a huge opportunity to post-enrollment support them. And what does that look like? It looks like increasing their basket. If they're on free, I want to get them on pro. If they're on free, I want to get them a tap. At the end of the day, I think everybody can benefit from the entire suite of Elify solution. So whether you're coming in from Shuffle first and then adding, the upsell or adding in tap, it's all about trying to support them. Now, guys, both of these scenarios that we just went through, Ruben, as flows, this is just for customers, okay? You also have this opportunity. And what I love is when a customer starts making passive referrals. It's like, oh, I just helped Ruben out and I showed him how to leverage Shuffle and leverage Tap to support his art and to support people appreciating his art and ordering his art. And while he's out there sharing that with people, a business owner came by his booth to look at his art, and Ruben shared something with him via Tap. And that business owner goes, "What are you doing, Ruben? Where did you get this? How are you? Oh yeah, my buddy ER helped me set this up. I can show you how to do this, or I can connect you with ER if I don't feel comfortable." You know what I mean? That person gets set up. That's the passive referral. You're just using the solution daily, right? Find out where Shuffle fits into your daily method of operation, use it daily, and that exposure alone will introduce you to people who are interested in the technology. Then you can start to get active. Oh, I want to target business owners. I want to target networkers. I want to target entrepreneurs. I want to target direct sellers. Now you're being in the active promotion side, and you're going in understanding the general problems, replication, relationship management, opportunities falling through the gaps. Most of these are universal for all businesses. Once you start doing the active promotion, or that passive person says, I want to reach out to Ruben. Hey, Ruben, I just saw that somebody signed up, this business owner. I don't know if you're aware of it, but Elify has an affiliate program and they want to give you a reward back as an affiliate just for making that connection. And Ruben says, wow, it was really simple. All I was doing was using the solution and you just paid me. I shared and I got paid. Then you start actively doing it. Wow, well, maybe I should talk to more people and spend some time on art and some time on active promotion. So doing, helping, and teaching are big aspects of all of this. But hopefully that covers the flow. I know I've just gone on some giant long process on this, but very powerful here. And you think about it. But the key to this is, look, A and B, and you could have a C, you could have a D. You think about your own respective business, but it's about personalization. You're going to increase your conversion rate when you lean into the person you're interacting with. If you try to do a catch-all, you're just going to run the numbers, and a lot of it is just going to fall through the gaps because it's not one size fits all in probably 99% of cases.
ER, I want to add just a little bit to this. Mentioning buzzwords, things that are happening right now, especially things that we're very keen on from a development aspect of blockchain and decentralization, which is new terms to people, but a lot of what's happening, a lot of people identify this one word as negative, but when you look at it, it is extremely positive in what's happening, and it's disrupting the way things have been done in a positive view. Think about disruption in snail mail. Disruption in snail mail was email, right? And it came with technology. Disruption in email is text. It comes instant messaging, those different types of things. It's a disruption. So what Shuffle Elify provides is a disruption of simplifying the exchange of information about your company, your information, your contact, your opportunities seamlessly. It's a exchange of information that is being utilized with technology today in that disruptive state.
I love that, guys, so much. And I think about like those two mechanisms that we talk about within Shuffle that our focus is, where you've got on one side relationship or networking, right? Networking is all about relationships and relationship management. And I'll tell you what, the old analog way of networking is so ripe with opportunity to be more efficient by leveraging technology. And that's the disruptive portion of Shuffle for networking, right? And then on the converse, or on the other side of that, is the marketing side, right? What information, the right information to the right person at the right time, and doing it in a digital way through your mobile device, making it very accessible to everybody. That's disruptive. And I think it's that disruption that Guy's talking about that creates that magic for people, especially on the early adoption stage where we're at right now. Now, and we talked about this earlier, this QR code was disruptive in 2020, right? We just got thrust into it. A lot of people were like, what is that? How do I use it? Now, it's in that growth phase. Everybody's familiar with it. They all want to figure out how to use it. They're all seeing big business use it all the time. It blows my mind. You used to never see QR codes in like 2015. Now everybody and their brother wants to implement QR codes. All the big boys are already doing it. Think about all the little guys who are trying to figure out how to do it. And you guys are all 100% well positioned to go out there and say, hey, do you use QR codes? Like, think about that one question. Do you use QR codes to connect with your audience? And then just pause. They're going to tell you one of two things. Yes, I do. In fact, I've got a great QR code system. Awesome. Time to ask a different question. Or they're going to say, no, but I know how powerful QR codes are and how popular they've become. Look at Guy's background, right? You want to connect with Guy? There's a QR code. We're seeing it happen more and more. It was the most popular ad on the Super Bowl, for goodness sake. So there's this opportunity to leverage disruptive technology. The other new disruptive technology, Guy, along your lines, is NFC. If you want to really wow people, like, create the magic. It's like having a magic wand to put stuff on their device. Like, that creates an experience. And if it's novel and new enough, you're like one of the first people to bring it out there. They're like, what? How do you do that? And once somebody sees you doing something, they want to follow the leader, right? When I learned how to ski, I didn't go out with my friends who didn't know how to ski. I went and learned from an instructor. And the instructor started to baby step me through that path. And then if I stuck with it long enough, I became a skier. You know what I mean? If I want to implement QR in my business, if I want to implement NFC in my business, if I want to implement CRM in my business, and I know we're like using a lot of acronyms here, but that's the commonplace in digital technology. When you start learning that stuff and sharing that stuff, you become elevated to everybody else who's interacting with you. You become that authority in some way. Even to Ruben's point, if you don't feel techie, that's almost being in a better position, because now you can diffuse that question. Ruben says, you know what? I'm not techie either. And if I can do it, I know you can do it. That's part of being the guide, right? And taking somebody through that journey of supporting and helping them. And that's part of the knowing the numbers and the compounding side of things, where once you know how to do that, and it only comes through practice, right? The first time you do it, you're going to fumble, you're going to screw up. It's okay. This is why we are here as a community, to support each other. After a while, you're like, oh my gosh, I got my first referral. You know what the cool part is? It's rinse and repeat. It doesn't get any harder than that. Oh my God, I showed somebody how to implement QR code. Awesome. You know what I mean? Go out and show another person how to implement QR codes in their business, or NFC in their, create a Zoom background QR code. You know, do you do meetings online? That's a great question. You do? Are you connecting with the people you're meeting with through QR codes? No, I can show you how to do that. It's generated a ton of leads for me, and I know it can generate new leads and relationships for you. Do you have 5 minutes for me to show you how? I mean, again, it just starts to come after a while. So what else? Any other questions out there? Any other things we want to talk about? If not, I got some cool stuff to share, but
I want to real quickly just say thank you to Guy for helping me with my top card the other day. I was able to share it at an event last night at downtown Water Street with all the heavy hitters, City of Henderson, like all these people. They're like, whoa, what's that? So I'm going to keep creating that buzz with this tap card, and you watch, I'll have it in everybody's hands very soon.
I love that. And just let us, again, as a community, let us know how we can support. You know what I mean? You are part of a bigger community that wants to see you succeed. You know what I mean? This is that abundance mentality that I think everybody should have. There's so much, guys, we are on the early adopter stage of digital technology for small business. Think about that, okay? Think about when the internet first started in the 90s, you know what I mean? Or when social media first started in the 2000s. All of this stuff is coming down, and businesses are trying to leverage it because it's the new thing. And if you are the early adopter bringing in the next wave into the growth cycle, there are literally, what Guy, you and I were looking at it, it was something like 30 million small businesses registered through the Secretary of State in the nation. There are 100 million people actively involved in direct sales. You know, there's all these types of statistics out there of what a total addressable market is. And you guys are the early adopters who have an opportunity to introduce this to the world. And that's Guy and I's mission, right? We want to help simplify and elevate, right? Or elevate and simplify for all of these people, entrepreneurs, small business owners. So get out there, network, share, and watch that experience. Shelly, you just reiterated it, right? You're with heavy hitters and you're showing them things they've never even seen before. And now you become that person who's like, whoa, that gal Shelly I met, you know, she showed us that thing. I think we could implement that over here when our sales team is out next time. And here's the other thing. And Shelly, you bring up a big opportunity here. It's not one and done. You know, when we went through this flow, it's not like the moment I tap their card is the moment they sign up, is the moment they order, is the average. We want to play the numbers game. Back to our topic. The numbers and the statistics don't lie. One of the things Guy and I talked about, and if you've ever looked at it, or if you ever watched that movie 21, there's a book on the MIT blackjack team, these mathematicians who come in and say, look, if we count cards and we play perfect basic strategy, we can do a 1% shift in the advantage from the house to ourselves. They ran that for 5 years, got kicked out of every casino in the world, and walked away with millions of dollars because they played the numbers. It's the same thing here. Statistics are telling us that people will do business with you through the 5th and 12th interaction, but most often not before. So if Shelly goes out and shares her information one time, doesn't go back to that event, doesn't see those people again, doesn't follow up, statistically, they're not going to do business together. In fact, right, 50% of people won't follow up with somebody even if they knew they could do business. An absolute goose egg. We met. I said, oh, I love that conversation. Shelly and I could totally do business. And then I go home and I put the card in the stack or in the wherever it goes type of place, and nothing happens. If you take that action to follow up, hey, it was great meeting you. That's a second interaction. Hey, let's get on a call. Let's grab coffee. Hey, I wanted to talk about what you do and learn a little bit more and see if I can help you. All of those interactions add up. And it's like, oh, Shelly's there again next week. And she taps a card again and it's got a different card or something. And they're like, you got to show me how to do this. Okay, let's set an appointment. That's a third interaction, a fourth interaction. Oh, let me introduce you to the team that I'm a part of, the community I'm a part of, and we can all help you be more successful. Becomes another interaction. And ultimately, you're basically planting seeds, right? We're all farmers here. Guy, I love the fact that you have an agricultural background. We're all farmers here, but there's things that come along with farming. When it's 5 a.m, and guys got to get up and it's 0 degrees outside and the stalls have to be mucked and the animals have to be fed, the work's got to be done. But the harvest eventually comes. And I think that's the cool part. Once you start getting into that rotation, it's like, oh, I got another one. Oh, I got another one. Guy and I have queued up people that are our first conversation to people we've been talking with for years. And every day is filled with a mixture of those things. And you just stick to that formula and let the numbers play out. So Shelly, thank you so much for all you do. Let us know how we can support you on anything with the Henderson community.
There's a couple of things I want to add to that from the examples and having an agricultural background and having the hello to enrollment and post enrollment and understanding that the post enrollment, once you get someone there, to your point, it's where a lot of the work is focused, and it can be a lot of fun because you're building, you're growing, you're collaborating with a lot of people, and you're supporting them in that do help teaching process. From the agricultural background, think about a cornfield, a wheat field. Did it just end up like that? A 10-foot tall plant with ears of corn on it, or did you have to work the ground, fertilize the ground, plant the seed, water it, fertilize it, water it, watch it grow? If there's some type of hailstorm come through, you have to figure something out to make that thing keep growing. Otherwise, it's a wash, and you hope it didn't hit the rest of your crops. Yeah. But you reap the rewards when it comes to that harvest time. When it comes to, I've got the penny compounded here for 30 days. I didn't stop. The corn didn't grow for 5 days. And I stop and I don't do anything with it. I don't nurture it. I don't raise it. And now I'm sort of going to switch a thought over to what Elify and Shuffle does for you from a competitive analysis, looking at what else is out there in market. Yeah, there's companies that do elements that Elify provides, right? But having a suite of tools where it's all brought together, and especially what I love about it, making it affordable for everybody. I said on a Zoom, I was telling ER, we get invited to a lot of different things just to learn and see what's happening out there. From a competitive analysis, they talk about everyone can do this project. Everyone can make money at this project. And they have some of the top gurus in the world talking about it. And they have you sitting on these Zooms for anywhere from an hour to 3 hours. Yeah. And it's a lot of those, but wait, we'll tell you, we're going to tell you the secret. There's a secret. There's no secret. There is no secret. Their secret is you can sell high ticket items if you sell it to people at high dollar volumes. Mm-hmm. We could sell this to people for a high ticket item at a high volume, but what is the likelihood that it's able to be used by everybody? Yep. So sitting in this Zoom, at the very end of it, they're like, we want you to come into our course and we'll teach you how to do this. We're going to give you a great discount. If you all sign up before the end of today, it's only $7,000 for you. And it's a course. And they're not providing you anything to take out there other than learning more knowledge. And I think this is what we love about it is we have a Tuesday training with Kathy. We have Thursday masterminds. We have Friday with the founders where we talk basically all these course materials that they're bringing in saying you need to pay $7,000 to get. And still, what do you get at the very end is them giving you the validation that whatever you have, you can go sell it at a high ticket price.
Yeah.
Okay. It's someone coming to you saying, well, you can take Shuffle and sell it for $7,000.
Yeah.
Well, go do it. Go set up your own Shopify and have your link set up on Shopify and sell it for $7,000. Then have one set to the side and say, well, just go to Shuffle and purchase it for $20. See what likelihood from being able to compound and replicate, which one's going to be more effective for you.
Yeah, Guy, I can't agree with you more. And one of the things that I often see, and it's a bit depressing, to be honest, is the people who go down that path. And guys, you're talking to somebody who's spent well over 6 figures on educational material. Okay. I have 2 master's degrees. I have a focus on entrepreneurship. I have a focus on investment management. It's from higher level universities out there, that type of thing. I'm not going to knock education, right? But we live in a world where most everything you want to learn, you could Google, you could get the baseline of that information. And courses were really great. Like university structure was really great when there was no internet. But a part of me in hindsight says I could have locked myself in a library for 6 months to a year and with diligent study learned exactly what I learned in school, right? They gave me a path to follow. They gave me incremental stuff. But at the end of the day, independent, you have to apply that knowledge. You have to apply it. You have to put in the work. And Guy, you talked about this secret, guys. We talk about everybody's looking for the secret. Everybody's looking for the easy way or the quick win. You know what I mean? The secret is you follow a process and you do the work and you focus on the daily activity. If you do those 3 things, guys, this is what I'm selling for $7,000, right? Follow the process, do the work, do it daily. The results are inevitable. I told Guy, I just started a swim program this morning, coached swim. It was my first day. Woo, it kicked my butt. You know what I mean? But a month from now, I'm going to have more endurance. I'm going to feel a little bit better. 3 months from now, my friend and I decided to do it together. And he was just doggy paddling almost towards the end of this thing. And I said, stick with it. We are not going to be Michael Phelps on day 1. But if we go in a year from now, look back, and we were in the locker room afterwards, and one of the guys goes, hey guys, I've been doing this for 8 years now, and it has changed my life. He gave his testimonial about all of that. And I said, great, that's another reason why we follow the process, right? We do the work. Nobody was sitting there while I sat on the side of the pool doing the strokes for me. I was doing every one of those strokes on every one of those laps, and you do the daily stuff. That's the process. And Guy would be the first person to tell you, you do not harvest the corn before you plant it. You do not fertilize it before you plant it. You do not fertilize it after you harvest it. There is a sequence of events, and it doesn't matter whatever you're doing. Everything you do has a process, right? We've talked about this many times before. I have a process when I make coffee. I didn't realize I had that process until I stepped back and I watched it. I'm like, oh, wow. I was talking to my wife while I was making breakfast, and I took a step back like, wait a second. I'm like pouring this into here. I'm grabbing this to put it in here. I'm closing this down. I'm almost doing a spin while I grab this to put it in there. It's like subconscious because the process has become subconscious. But when you learn something new, you're learning the process for the very first time. And that's the hardest step. I think about my daughter who just learned how to ride a bike. She's known how to do it for a little bit. My son now is learning how to ride a bike, and we've got him on this little Strider. We're teaching him the process of balance. He's got a tricycle and he's learning the process of pedaling. And then the next step is to put those 2 together. I'm not entering him into like some melodrome race or whatever it is. I'm trying to teach him the baby steps to ride the bike. So Shelly, I see your hand go up. Go on ahead.
Do you know that that's actually a process of a hypnotic state? Like when you drive from point A to point B and you don't remember the lights and you don't remember, did I even stop at the stop sign? That's a hypnotic state. That's
Yeah.
a subconscious thing. I'm actually learning a lot about that right now.
And how many times have you gone down that same drive and you're supposed to do something else and you just keep on going by? You forget. I was driving home and my buddy's like, "Hey, ER, you gotta drop me off." And I'm like, "Oh, sorry." I just kept on going. It was like, I've done this drive 1,000 times. The first time I did the drive, I had to learn. I had to look at every sign. I had to do all that type of stuff. But when you do repetitive stuff, and this is what we talk about habit creation, guys, you are a result of all of the daily activities that you do every day. I think on Monday we mentioned it. Be the change you want to see. You know what I mean? That's that old, a lot of it's attributed to Gandhi, right? If you live the lifestyle and the traits of what you want to become, you will inevitably become that. You know, don't spin the lifestyle you want to be if you're not at that lifestyle, but live that lifestyle, right? And the rest will automatically result. And that's the powerful secret. It's not a really complex topic. It's not rocket science or brain surgery, as I always like to say. It's very simple. But what I see is a lot of people, 98% of people, they won't implement the process, even if they learn it, So if you want to be in that 2%, all you have to do is implement a simple process, put in the work, and do it every day. After a few days, like repetitions, it starts to become second nature. And to Shelley, your point, at some point, it becomes subconscious. I set an objective in December leading up to the new year to start waking up at 5 a.m. to do my workout first thing because I didn't have enough time. And man, was that brutal. The first month, every day I wanted to hit snooze. Every day I didn't want to do it. Every day I was searching for that excuse to default back to my old habit. And now I get up before my alarm clock goes off. It's so weird, but it's become habitual, right? And it took maybe 90 days max? Wow, small sacrifice, guys, small sacrifice that will yield the biggest rewards. And that's really what we're talking about here, especially with the numbers. Guy, when you and I were going through everything, and I want everybody on this call, I love this community so much. We want to share with you that whole journey of what Guy and I were doing. But we were talking about the numbers. And I said, similar to that $1 million today, penny compounded every day for 30 days. I told Guy when I started out, I got paid 80% commission on an ebook sale. And I was like, awesome, I'm making mailbox money. People are coming to my website. They're buying this ebook. And then I took a step back and started to look at the metrics and the numbers. And Guy and I were talking, and he's like, did you realize that if you sold an ebook to Jane wasn't going to come back next month and buy the same ebook. You got to find John and Tim and Paul and Susie to buy that ebook as well. Wow, that is a negative attribute that you want to eliminate. You're starting to look at and think of the model and how it adds up. And I realized, if I only earned 10% instead of 80%, there would be 70% left for somebody else to earn, and I could leverage that. That's how I learned about leverage. Or the first topic was residual, right? I don't want to just sell something once and then have to go out and find another person to buy it again. If you're in a business like that, I understand and focus and do it. But that's the hunter-gatherer. I eat what I kill, but I got to eat something tomorrow and I got to kill something tomorrow. We're farmers here. We want to plant the seeds and when we eat, and that we're rotating crops and doing all of that type of stuff. Residual compensation, I wanted to do the work one time and get paid over and over and over again. This is what movie stars love. This is what singers love. This is what a lot of high-powered people who do something once and get paid over and over again love about it, right? I sing into this microphone one time. They recorded on this, I guess I'm going to date myself, on this CD or cassette, right? And then they sell a lot of them. They put it on the digital download, and every time it gets downloaded, that artist gets a little bit of a slice of that download. Heck, the producer gets a little bit of a slice. The songwriter gets a little bit of a slice. We all think about that person who's sitting there with their face. There's so many things in the background where it's getting divided up. The same thing here. You do the work once and you get paid over it over and over and over again. The other side. Oh, Guy, did you have something to add to that?
I was just going to, adding to the residual aspect.
Yeah.
I can't remember who says it. You know who it is. It's either the the individual who started Schick or Bic
Yeah.
from a residual aspect is
Gillette razors.
Gillette razors is he knows every morning his business is going to run residually because men will continue to shave their face and women will continue to shave their legs, and they have to have a new razor next month and the next month, and it just keeps coming in and compounding that. One thing I do want to add to this also is the platforms here, the elements are here.
Yep.
Big person who I screenshot a lot of quotes, and one of the best ones ever is time. And it's the sad thing is the quote is from Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake you make in your life is thinking you have enough time. Right.
I mean, think on that for a second, right?
And you'll find out someday that I'm a very emotional person. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. And I think this is where you get to realize ER and I are just a couple of fellas. And this is why we wanted to be able to provide something to somebody to make an impact in their life by impacting others. And there's time. You all have time right now, but it's finite. And it's understanding that tomorrow's not guaranteed. You know, I've got to go run errands this afternoon, and it's icy roads. I'm going to drive as careful as I can, and I hope everyone else does as well.
Yeah.
That there's things that I want to do in this life, but I've got to make sure with work-wise that we focus and make sure that we provide enough here for everyone else that they get what they want.
Yep.
And that's been our whole goal all along.
Absolutely, Guy. Absolutely. And I think, first of all, I want to take 1 second to appreciate everybody's time, because I realize how finite it is. And I realize that you guys are spending a little bit of it with us today. And I want that to come back and reap rewards for you. So hopefully you're getting something out of the time that you're spending with us. I know how finite time is. And at some point, as you spend time with us, you will hear Guy and I's story, and we will tell you why or how we came to understand how finite time is and how we have to leverage it properly, how we have to use it properly, all of those types of things, because it's not guaranteed. With that being said, that's why I want to do stuff that I do one time, right? And then I get paid for it over and over again. There's an old proverb or analogy that's out there, and it's like there are two guys, and they're going, they're entrepreneurs, and one of them is going to the river with a bucket, and he's bringing it back to the village, and he's selling buckets of water. And he's like, look at my business. It's so profitable. I go to the river, get a bucket. I bring it back. I sell the bucket of water. I do it again and again. And everybody needs the water, so it's there. And the other guy picks up a shovel, and he starts digging a trench. And he's digging the trench from the village towards the river. And the other guy's making money hand over fist. This guy's just working away. But eventually he gets right up to the river, and he breaks through and diverts a little bit of the water from the river all the way to the village. And he says, I'm going to start selling for people to fill up their buckets on my path. And lo and behold, that other guy with the bucket, why buy your bucket when I can get cheaper water right here? It all shifts over, and that guy doesn't have to carry any more buckets. He did the work once, and he's going to get paid for the rest of his life on that. And then his family gets paid, and his family gets paid. That's residual income, guys. Find an opportunity that provides that to you. I hope that you consider Elify's affiliate program as that opportunity, but there's a lot of opportunities out there that do that. Okay, that's the first big golden rule, residual income. Second one, compounding. We talked about how powerful this is. That was the other thing. Even if I got residual income, if I had to do all of the work all of the time, even if I got paid on the work in the end, there's only so much that I can do. You know what I mean? We are all limited by time, to Guy's point. So if we can leverage other people and show a path that they can follow as well, we can start leveraging some of their effort. Again, I would much rather get paid 1% on the effort of 1,000 people, because I can't put in 1,000% effort, Think about that. If I wanted to make $1,000 and I showed somebody how to make $100 and I got $1 for it, and I could do that 1,000 times over, all of a sudden I'm making $1,000. And that's the sort of golden goose that a lot of people are looking for, but that maybe you haven't found that vehicle that will take you down that path. And there's a lot of vehicles that allow you to do that. We just think our vehicle is pretty good. You know what I mean? You can do it from anywhere. You can leverage the online, you can leverage the offline. And if you run the numbers on that, it can be very powerful. I know Scott was on the call last week and he was talking about really running the numbers and saying, you know, two who get two, and he's running through it. And then he goes, if you add one more, it literally doubles. Or if you saw guys comment in there, it's that penny compounded for 30 days is $5.5 million, but a penny compounded for 31, it's over $10 million. Like, isn't that powerful? And that's that compounding effect. And really what our goal is we want to show people that there's a path or a vehicle. Yes, we want to provide this technology and we want everybody to leverage this technology. But one of the things that Guy and I are ultimately passionate about is helping show people the path to entrepreneurship and the path to business ownership. And you guys have a lot of choices when it comes to that. You can build a business from scratch. I've done it multiple times. You have to design all your processes. You have to do everything. Then you have to start getting people in the right spots to do it for you, etc. You can buy a franchise. If you've got money sitting around, you can invest in a franchise. You can get sent to like a hamburger university. They show you how to do all the processes. And then you come back and you run the system that's been proven to work. And if you've got the money to commit to that, that's great. We wanted to find a vehicle that was for anybody. And in fact, Guy, I remember the story. My wife and I were in Thailand. I'm going to grab the picture because it's such part of the story. My wife and I were in Thailand. I had to say a quick tip to somebody, and I'm the only person who's let an elephant get a piggyback ride here from me. And my wife and I on elephants here. And we were in Thailand. And I remember walking through these slums of Thailand. And it's so sad to see people in thatch huts, dirt floors. And I noticed something. There was a kid. It was like sitting on a dirt floor, and he was playing at that time Angry Birds on a mobile device. Like, and I told Guy, I said, you know what? The future of third world countries are going to leapfrog over traditional old technology into the latest technology. Think about what Elon Musk is doing with Starlink. He's going to bring internet to all of the world. Now everybody's going to have access to the digital world. There's only 5% of geography that has high-speed internet. Imagine everybody having satellite internet and what that opens up, and that they're going to do commerce virtually. Facebook's leaning into that virtual world of Meta. These are all those things where we're like, wow, if we could create a technology that supported that and supported individuals and enabled them and empowered them to be small business owners, entrepreneurs, work at home professionals, etc. What could we do to impact and change the world? And how powerful would that be? And here's why the price is so low. Because we wanted to make sure that it wasn't the people in the US who've got money to burn and all of that type of stuff. It was that person who was trying to start a business, but maybe could only afford $20 and still have an opportunity to come in and leverage technology. Why do we only charge $1 to become an affiliate? And we don't even take it out. We prorate it against the first commission because we wanted to enable a path for people to do. That's sort of that passion that Ruben, A, B. The last thing in closing here for today's mastermind is path C. You guys all have an opportunity at your disposal. First and foremost, you should be leveraging and maximizing that opportunity. Run the numbers and see what's accomplishable. If you need help and support, you have a community that's here to support. You just need to plug into that. But also take an opportunity to show people that path, because just as much as it's a product offering and a service offering with Elify, with Shuffle, with Tap, you guys have an opportunity to share the opportunity with other people. And I will tell you, there's a whole world out there of people who are looking for a vehicle that's going to help take them from where they are to maybe where they want to go. And the big thing that I focus on with Shuffle, when I focus on the opportunity, and I know this because Guy and I live it every day, it's really three things that you're selling to people or that you're sharing with people. It is time freedom, right? That's the residual and that's the leverage. This provides time freedom because once you build up a base, you have to spend less time doing the work and more time helping and teaching. You know what I mean? Then you have location freedom. I started this business because I wanted to be in Thailand working from my mobile device. Then I realized how hot and sweaty I got in Thailand when it's 100 degrees and 99% humidity. So I came to Colorado where it's nice and dry. But I could still do this from anywhere where there's an internet connection. Okay. Then we want to do financial freedom. But for most of us, I mean, we're not all looking to be the next Jeff Bezos or the next Elon Musk. We're not looking to be the 100 billionaire, right? We just like to pay our bills, not worry about that $500 unexpected expense, have some income coming in, plan for retirement. Hey, maybe even retire early. These are all available through this vehicle. So time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, I think are things that everybody is looking for. And to be able to empower people with that on a solution that the affiliate program costs $1, like that's an opportunity that I think most people can lean into. And then it's just a matter of, are they willing to follow the process, do the work, and do that work daily? Guys, that's how simple it is. So I know we've gone all over today. We're about 2 minutes over on our time. I'm happy to stick around for just a minute more for if there's any questions or anything like that. Otherwise, Guy, I know we're already late for our next meeting, but I just love hanging out with everybody in this community. And I look forward to housekeeping tomorrow's call. Friday with the founders, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 11 Central, adjust for your time zone. Guy and I will be back on. We do 4 calls a week. Monday, sprint planning. Tuesday is Tech Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central. That's how to use the technology. Thursday is going to be our mastermind. If you guys have topic suggestions or anything else you want to cover, look, I may not be the authority on everything. I like to think I'm a jack of all trades and know enough about most things to be dangerous. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it and let's share together. And then Friday with the founders. We'll go through everything as a community. We want to connect with you. We want to support each other. And we want to show that there's a better way. So it may not be perfect, but we think it's better. Guys, have an amazing day. Have an amazing Thursday. Get out there and do what you need to do. Put in the activity, put in the work. It's only hard until you learn it, you know? So thank you, everybody, for joining us on this mastermind. If you need anything, please reach out. Good to see everybody. Shelly, thank you for contributing. Ruben, thank you for contributing. Brenda, good to see you on. Thanks for joining. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Gary, good to have you. Everybody, until next time, thanks so much. Greg, Michelle, good to see you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.
Guys, drive safe, Guy.
Will do. Thank you. Take care.